presenter is Richard Roberts, who is Head of Sales Development for Foresight Group. Foresight probably need no introduction, being one of the largest managers of pretty much everything in our space. And they have a range of VCTs, but I think Richard is going to focus on one very in particular. So, Richard.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Brian. Great to speak to you about our Foresight Technology VCT for the next 10 minutes or so. Just a quick intro to me. I'm Head of Sales Development at Foresight Group. I've worked in sort of venture and private equity for sort of most of my career. And my kind of core role at Foresight is to engage both with advisors and investors and help sort of bring them a little bit closer to their money and understanding how Foresight's VCT product suite and EIS suite work. I'm not going to dwell too long on this because you'll see enough of these today, but obviously this is a financial promotion that you're going to receive today. So I'm going to start with a stat, which is going to shock you perhaps, but 85% of VCTs in the market are classified as general enterprise. What that means is that they have similar investment strategies and ultimately provide little potential diversification for investors. Now, that's a pretty punchy statement, but since sort of the patient capital review, the market has had to sort of narrow. So although many VCTs will have some technology, they will also have a range of e-commerce. They might hold some AIM in there. They might have some manufacturing. They might have some healthcare and a broad range of different general enterprise sort of assets. What I'm going to talk to you about today, though, is a specific VCT within that, which is the Foresight Technology VCT. And 3 reasons why you should look at considering this in your portfolio for VCTs this year. So number 1, this is a highly differentiated VCT, and it's managed, as Brian said, by Foresight Group, which are one of the largest managers in the space. Ultimately, you know, within the space, as I said, it's quite congested with general enterprise, but the technology VCT specifically is looking at deep tech, sort of early stage companies which are highly differentiated, they're high growth potential, and we're sort of looking at delivering that sort of 10x return sort of profile. So that should, because it is so focused, give you a little bit of a better portfolio diversification than going into a general enterprise bucket. Number 2, what are we looking to do? Well, the deep tech VCT is looking to solve some of the world's most pressing challenges. Okay, we're backing companies that have got huge growth potential, but really we're addressing some of the key problems that we're all going to find for tomorrow. So climate change, resource scarcity, cybersecurity, and so on. And lastly, there are some very strong tailwinds to invest into this sector now. So some strong government support, obviously through things like VCT and EIS. There's a great ecosystem for investing into deep tech. And ultimately, there's some great market timing. And the Foresight Technology VCT has been going for about 5.5, 6 years. And it's getting to that maturity window. So it's a great time to start looking at sort of building this into your portfolio. So in terms of the strategy itself, what are we looking to do? Well, you know, as I said, we're looking to solve global challenges. Okay, these are things that are ultimately going to make a difference and are significant problems to everybody's lives and the way that we sort of are living our lives. And the focus of the VCT is ultimately to address some of these. So, you know, companies developing and addressing these problems are called deep tech companies. So they're looking at investing into a range of different underlying technologies, as you can see here. So robotics, autonomous systems, advanced materials, semiconductors, you know, things that are ultimately going to make a significant difference into the way that we live our lives. And this is really a very deep niche focused fund. It isn't very broad in terms of the way that we are making investments. Okay, and this range of breakthrough technologies is where we spend our time and effort originating deals. And how do we go about doing that? Well, ultimately, the UK is a great place for investing into this type of business. Okay, and the raw material for investing into deep tech companies comes from intellectual firepower. So 12 out of the top 25 universities in Europe are in the UK. Okay, and that provides the raw material ultimately to start looking at the problems of tomorrow and beginning to solve them. We've also got one of the most active venture capital and startup VC networks in the world. It's sort of, you know, with VCT and EIS funding, it is the envy of the world. And that's all supported by a set of government initiatives that are really harnessing that deep tech theme and helping UK PLC sort of grow. And why is that important for sort of the technology VCT itself? Well, ultimately, Foresight has a regional office network that sort of sits almost right on top of all of these academic and financial ecosystems. You'll all be well aware of the Golden Triangle of Oxford, Cambridge, and London, but it's not just unique to that. You know, places like Bristol is a hub for semiconductors. Places sort of in the Northern Triangle are great for industrials and material sciences. And Foresight has an unparalleled regional access to this type of deal flow. We have 14 different offices up and down the country, which helps us originate these deals. We're working very, very closely with these early stage spinouts, a lot of them from universities, but generally from the ecosystems that they're producing. And that gives us access to the deal flow and a massive competitive advantage from some of the companies within the VCT marketplace and network. And that gives us a great opportunity to build some fantastic companies for you and your clients to invest into. So when it comes to actually investing, what are we looking to try and do? Well, obviously we're looking to try and back innovative businesses, but critically ones that have got strong intellectual property that's defensible. That's going to be the platform for us to actually sort of both protect and drive value for investors. We're looking to back companies which have got some outstanding, you know, commercial expertise and pedigree, and a team that's sort of potentially been through this before and has a great story, you know, in terms of being able to raise capital. They are solving a very material problem, and we'll talk about a great example as to what that might be in a minute. And we're not looking to sort of drive, you know, unicorn value for all of these companies. You know, we're looking to try and ensure that all of these companies, when we're making an investment, has got a clear route to exit. And it's exiting in a range where we can both make an investment return in a meaningful amount of time, but also ones where there is, you know, an investment opportunity for buyers for the future. So we're trying to ensure that we can return capital on a regular basis. And ultimately, we're trying to drive exit value from financial multiples. We're not trying to build traditional businesses here. We're looking to invest into high potential deep tech companies that are going to be bought for their intellectual property and capability. You'll see lots of these types of sort of screens today, and you know, investment teams from the other managers. This is the Foresight Venture team, but it's part of a wider team. Foresight have one of the largest private equity teams in the market, with over 60 investment professionals. And we have a wide range of industry expertise that we can lean on from venture partners and our wider network in order to help us both do due diligence and assessment for making those great early stage companies. And because we've only got 10 minutes, I just wanted to focus on one company which was in the strategy. So this is a company called CodePlay. CodePlay was a spin out from the University of Edinburgh. It was a chip manufacturer, a semiconductor manufacturer. And ultimately, what the focus of CodePlay was to enhance the performance of computer chips running AI software within existing businesses. So ultimately, what we were doing was looking to enhance existing companies that were in there. So within our exit for CodePlay, we took a business from early stage university spin-out. We created over 50 jobs with that money, working closely with the University of Edinburgh. We helped the business secure a landmark deal with the US government to help it sort of underpin some of its next generation supercomputer. And we helped it build a go-to-market strategy that could really sort of add value to things like driverless cars, high potential computing, AI, machine learning, and so on. And that is sort of something that's become, until the last few days, where the AI bubble has potentially softened a little bit, but ultimately AI is going to drive the way that we live our lives, and ultimately computing firepower is going to be the thing that's going to deliver that. So this is a great example of a deep tech business in action, and ultimately taking it from that cradle to grave and delivering a fantastic exit for investors, something that we're extremely proud of. In terms of Foresight itself, you probably are aware of Foresight, but the private equity capability specifically. Why should you choose Foresight as your counterparty to invest your client's money, for example? So we're a very large business. We have 13.5 billion of assets under management, and that is split across both institutional and retail money in the infrastructure and private equity space. We've got 19 offices across the globe. As I said, we've got one of the largest PE teams in the UK with over 60 investment professionals. And more importantly, we know what we're doing. Okay, we've made over 400 PE and venture investments over the last 10 years. We've delivered well over 100 exits, and the average return on investment for SMEs is sort of just over 3x. Okay, and that's full and partial exits since 2010. We've been well recognized for this. I'm not going to go through all of these, you can sort of see, but ultimately this is credentializing both a process, a team, and a focal point for our Foresight Technology VCT. But we don't just have a Foresight Technology VCT, we do have a wider suite of VCTs. We're only talking today, or I'm only talking today around our early stage specialist deep tech Foresight Technology VCT. We do have a venture VCT, which is slightly later stage, investing in more into enterprise software, sort of Series B and beyond, things that have got better product market fit. And then we also have our general enterprise, that 85% bucket that I mentioned right at the start, which is much later stage and much more sort of traditional proven businesses. So we do have a very broad range of product offerings for that VCT market. But if you are ultimately looking to differentiate and build a broader VCT portfolio, you should really look at the technology VCT as part of that. And why is that? The things that you need to take away from today: it's highly differentiated. It is a relatively new VCT in the grand scheme of things, but it's still got the award-winning fund manager pedigree. Okay, and that differentiated VCT can provide you better portfolio diversification. You're not just investing continually in the same sort of general enterprise area. What is it doing? It's solving some of the world's most pressing challenges, the things that are going to create a paradigm shift in terms of the way that we live our lives, addressing things that are very relevant to us today and generations for the future, and really solving some of those world's most pressing challenges. And lastly, there are some strong tailwinds to invest now. The portfolio itself is entering its maturity window. It's getting to that stage. It's about 6 years old since inception. There's been early stage growth, and now it's the inflection point which would really deliver value should you want to sort of broaden out. And obviously there's a lot of money going into this space ultimately because of the ecosystem, government support through things like VCT and the EIS money, and market timing. So that's me. I'm probably over time, but happy to answer any questions.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Richard. You've drummed up a few questions here. There's going to be one general one on AI, but I'm going to save that till the end for all the panelists. I think it'll be an interesting one for people to talk about valuations there. Given Foresight Tech VCT is earlier stage, what is the failure rate for companies, and how does it compare, I guess, to your later stage VCTs?
Yeah, so maybe I'll answer the later stage one first, because I think that we need to look at how we're investing. I think failure rate within a VCT vehicle, is less acute in one sense, because ultimately you're investing into the VCT and the broad portfolio. Our generalist VCTs, they're much later stage. They are much more sort of traditional businesses that have got revenue that need money for capital growth. So on that side of the ledger, there are few failures because ultimately they are more proven businesses. In sort of obviously investing into early stage deep tech, there is a high degree of risk that's going to go with this. I don't know have the actual numbers off the top of my head, but out of a portfolio, I think that of sort of 48 companies that are in there at the moment, there's probably a small handful that are either failed or probably not going to make it. And that's okay. You know, that's part of the investment strategy. We are not here to just deliver 1 to 3x return and protect people's money. You know, this is why this is a diversified VCT from the mainstream market. We are swinging for the fences. We want to deliver 10x plus because we're solving some very big problems, and we're not going to get it right every time. But if you're buying a basket of companies within the VCT and the tech strategy, and you believe in that strategy as a great opportunity, you know, on balance, it will deliver some great results.
Perfect, thank you. Another question on Pisces, the new framework for private markets, of which LSE is going to be is going to offer a version of Pisces. Is this going to improve deal flow in any way in terms of an exit opportunities for companies in the portfolio?
Yeah, I'm not sure it will improve deal flow. I think the deal flow and the ecosystem is very strong in the UK, you know, and it's not just all in the southeast. You know, I'm here in Belfast today. You know, there are huge opportunities right across the UK, providing that you can get your network into it. And that's why Foresight's sort of reach with its regional office capability really sort of harnesses that deal flow. What I think it will definitely do is it will help with that exit potential, you know, because ultimately there's more capital and there's more liquidity coming into the market, hopefully, that will be able to pick up businesses and really drive them on for future growth. So I think it's on more the exit side where the value add will be rather than the deal flow.
Yeah, agree. There's another question that's more general on timings with the budget coming in. I'm going to leave that one till the end for everyone to participate with. But the last one I have really is timing of the raises themselves. Obviously, you've got the 4 VCTs, 2 of which are open now, 2 are going to open in the new year. How do you decide when is the right time to open the VCT for a fundraise?
That's a great question. It obviously sits with the board because obviously we're the manager. The board will make the decisions. Ultimately, the management of the VCTs is driven by 2 things. You know, how much capital do we need to support the existing businesses that we've got, and how much capital do we meaningfully think we can deploy across the next sort of 12 to 18 months and support new businesses. So what we're trying to do is, you know, give everybody a little bit of time. So Foresight Technology opened in September, sort of mid-late September. You know, just to sort of echo some of what Nick said, you know, there is early bird discounts up until the end of December. So we're trying to allow each one to have its own time in the sun, but ultimately it's driven by what are the requirements for the existing portfolio, what the team can see for new deals to support.
Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next time.